thank you, the audience, for giving us your attention. Mr. Nagpal, you've been leading businesses for a long time. A lot has changed. As you said, there are changes happening every month, every week, and you have to respond to it. What are the 3 top changes that have happened in the last decade as a business leader? We'll funnel down to marketing. But what are the top 3 changes that are really becoming mainstream, which India has changed in a huge way?
Well, yeah, I've been around in this job for about 15 years now. Our office has changed once, our furniture has changed twice. I have not changed. So, a lot has changed, nothing has changed. I hear about change all the time. And people rubbish what was there in the past and say, "Wo to sab badal gaya, abhi." But what we need to realize is that the core needs of human beings have not changed. The core stimuli that they respond to have not changed. Dopamine, oxytocin still drive us. And people who've learned to tame these hormones are surviving. Yeah. The opportunities have changed, the options have changed, the choices have changed for the marketer. So, let's go back to an example. Say, you and I, when we were young, many decades ago, we used to go to Goa. The reason to go to Goa was beaches, the weather, the food, and friends. Today also, when we go to Goa, the reasons are exactly the same. No new reasons to go to Goa have added. When we went to Goa 40 years ago as students, or 45 years ago, there was one road, the old Goa road, via Chiplun, which you could take 2 days to get to Goa. You had to sleep at Chiplun in the night. There used to be 1 or 2 flights in a day which we couldn't afford. They were so expensive. Today, if you want to go to Goa, the options are you can take a flight now, an hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, at multiple prices in multiple classes through multiple airlines. You can drive on the expressway, or you can drive the old Goa highway, which has now become the new highway. I've driven on that twice in the last 3 months. It's pretty good in most patches. You also have a cruise liner that takes you there, I'm told. There's a cruise liner that goes to Lakshadweep. It actually takes you to Goa first and then there. So the reason for going to Goa is the same. The means of going to Goa are many. And that's exactly what has changed in our lives. The reason that a brand has, specifically talking from the perspective that we are discussing today, the reason that a brand is created and the reasons that customers have to buy your brands and products and the reasons that you have for doing things to keep that momentum of business alive and growing are the same. The tools have increased.
So, in fact, I read this book 4 months back called Same as Ever by Morgan Housel. It beautifully said the same thing. It said that, the needs are the same. Nothing has changed. It's the tools that have changed. Options are more. And beautiful storytelling. And, Mr. Nagpal is echoing the same. But let me say the top 3 things that have changed. One is, as he rightly said, the availability. Almost, whether it's quick commerce or it's content, you have much wider to choose from. Second, the access is so much easier, faster, better, cheaper. So, and the last is the meaning of certain things has also changed. While they have, the experiences we still seek, but the meaning or the connotation, while the fundamental reasons say, the meaning has changed. And I'll come to that in a while, but let me ask Mr. Nagpal. Now, we all know that TV is changing, right? TV consumption habits are changing. it is certainly, in my view, not dying, right? And I know that you are a big proponent on the growth of TV. What do you have to say? What's happening with the screen? How are people interacting with that screen that they used to? We know that we have multiple screens. We all are screenagers.
Yeah, sure. As I said, things have been changing, things will change. So are viewing habits. So let me try and answer your question by giving you bits of data. A car is used to travel from point A to point B. Last year, India sold about 4.5 million cars. An automated two-wheeler, be it a motorcycle or a scooter, is also used for the same purpose. Last year, India sold about 15-16 million two-wheelers, automated two-wheelers. So is a cycle used for the bicycle used for going from point A to point B. And I'm not talking about the bicycles that we use to exercise in the morning on the worldly cheapish. I'm talking about bicycles used by a common man from one place to go from one place to the other. How many bicycles, according to you, would have got sold in the last 1 year? Take a guess. Sorry? 10 million. This is the known number. Unknown number is on top of that. So, just because a car has been invented, scooters will not go out of fashion. Just because a scooter or a motorcycle has been invented, bicycles are not going to go out of fashion. And by the way, whichever city I go to, be it large, medium or small, I'm seeing a metro either already there or under construction. Many more than the number of people who are using the car, the motorcycle or the cycle are actually taking public transport. Now you would say that, अब तो कार इन्वेंट होगी, अब साइकिल पे कौन जाएगा और मेट्रो क्यों बना रहे हैं? So there are needs and there are fulfillment devices for each need. Just because I have started watching, and I'd be honest, I haven't watched live television for a very long time because I can afford high-speed broadband in my house and I can afford a subscription to all the apps that are there. Can everybody do that? There are still, of the 300 odd million homes in this country, there are still about 120 million homes who are yet to buy their first television, a product that costs 6,000 rupees. 120 out of 300 million homes have not bought their first TV. They haven't got 6,000 rupees on the table to buy a TV. They've got other things on priority. So, yeah, there is the hierarchy of goods. So there is a bunch of people at the bottom who don't have the first TV. There are others who bought the TV but don't have the money to subscribe to the television, so they're watching free-to-air. Then there are people above that who bought the TV and they can only watch that. And then on top of that are people who have both TV and OTT. This is small today, this is growing, so is this. And from revenue perspective, just to substantiate the numbers, the approximate turnover, including this subscription revenue and advertising revenue of pay TV, is of the order of about 70,000 crores a year. 35,000 crores on distribution revenue, subscription revenue, 25,000 crores of advertising revenue. Doordarshan Direct would probably be only advertising revenue, and that's in the region of 4,000 to 5,000 crores.
Television is still about 32,000 crores total.
No, 70,000 crores, 35,000 crores.
No, I'm just saying advertising revenue is 30.
Advertising revenue
between 30 and
25,000. I'd say 25, hazard of 25,000. And then you're talking about all the apps, the entire OTT. The subscription revenue of the OTT side is in the region of 5,000 to 6,000 crores. That's the number. Anybody has a different number, please come and tell me. The AWOD, as we call it, which is the advertising revenue from free OTT. YouTube would be what, 12,000 crores? 13,000 crores? Just pure YouTube. And the AWOD of the other apps which are running free from the broadcasters, another 5,000 crores. So all of these other mediums put together do not even generate a fraction of what pay TV generates even today.
I agree. I mean, I'd like to disagree with him, but the fact is, I said India is it's not I didn't know what he's going to say. We just had a 5 minute. India is an
It's an and market.
It's not an either or market. And there are more examples coming. Now, let me ask you, what is the future of connected TV? Because the number
It will grow. See, anything in this country will grow. Like I said, cars are growing, scooters are growing, motorcycles are growing, cycles are growing, metro is growing. We have such a large population. There'll be a segment for everything. Tell me something. When you discarded your CDs, or first of all, I had about 600 cassettes when we stopped listening to cassettes. I mean, most of the audience here is young enough to not even know what a cassette is. But yeah, I had about 600 cassettes when suddenly CDs appeared. I gave it to my driver and he was listening to all that music subsequently. Then when music went online, I had about 600 CDs, some of which I had bought at 600 rupees and 700 rupees each, some of which I had bought at 25 pounds and 20 pounds each overseas. I just handed over the boxes full to him. And there was a market, there was somebody willing to listen to them because he did not have online access. Even today, when I travel in the insides of the country, transistors sell. The good old Philips transistor, which you discarded about 25 years ago, is still selling in the market. Somebody must be listening to it, no? Jo 500-600,000 rupees kharchta hai uspe. He must be buying it to listen to it. So it's an and market. I totally agree with you.
Now let's go down to what are you doing with Tata Play. Now, Tata Play in the last, as I said, in your 15 years journey, at least you've seen 3 cycles, if not 5. Every 3 years, there is a major disruption. And
every morning.
Every morning. Now, how have you leveraged the growth of the digital ecosystem to be able to make Tata Play relevant in an omni-channel, omni-content?
In a big way. See, first of all, you need to, it's not about disruption, it's about differentiation. So I think, the disruption is an overused word. The word that you should be using more often is differentiation. And if your thinking starts from differentiation and not disruption, then you're following the logical sequence. See, almost every business, just look at your business, whatever you're running, is a completely commoditized business. Whatever things you have access to, every competitor of yours has access to each of the things. In my business, for example, it needs a satellite, freely available. It needs technology, freely available. It needs content. Whatever content I have access to, everybody mandatorily has access to that. I cannot be given exclusive access to the channels. Can I demand a special price? No. One guy drops price is equal to the price charged by the lowest charging competitor in the marketplace. Do I have access to exclusive distribution? No. The trader who sells my product sells everybody's product. So when I expand distribution, tomorrow my competitors go and reach that. So what exclusivity do I have? Zero. If I drop prices or my competitor drops prices, all others drop prices in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Never more than that. It's all online. So, you therefore need to find those differentiators in something that is process-based. So, we want to be easy and simple to deal with. People call it customer centricity, we call it easy and simple to deal with. Every process of ours need to be easy and simple to deal with inside and outside. Then, innovation, we said no, we got to be useful and inspiring innovation. Useful, it can't be what I developed. It has to be what the customer wants, and then go back to technology and deliver that. And inspiring, every time that innovation comes in front of the customer, if he doesn't say, oh shit, why didn't somebody think of this before? It is not inspiring. So, now, to deliver easy and simple to deal with every morning, a new easy and simple to deal with, to deliver a new useful and inspiring innovation every morning. And literally you have to do it every morning in small bits. You need digital. You have no choice. 6 years ago, 15% of our base used to recharge online. 85% went to a shop and said, 200 rupees ka coupon dena, 200 rupees ka recharge kar do, 100 rupees ka recharge kar do. Today, 82% of my subscribers are recharging online. On a lower base than we have today, about 135,000 to 140,000 people used to call the call center to avail of various services. Technology issue, pricing issue, pack change issue, etc., etc. Today, on a double the base of what we used to have then, against 135, 140,000 calls every morning, we get 35,000 calls every morning. Everybody else manages his affairs online. And there is no difference between digital users, digital rechargers, digital problem solvers between the so-called urban areas and the rural areas. And by the way, 65% of our subscribers are based in the 6 lakh villages of this country. Only 35% are in the cities.
Brilliant. So, while I was coming in the morning, today we know that Astro platforms are doing well. We know health platforms are doing well. Tata Play was the first ones to be able to do some of these things 10 years back, right?
More than that, yeah,
Maybe,
that's right.
I may have noticed it 10 years back. So clearly, look at it. Just to give you a sense of astrology, Indians are in organized way. Unorganized is much bigger. Are spending 500 crores every month on astrological consultation. Munish, you're one of them, right? And I'm one of them, right? Not online. And almost 100 crores of puja is being done through online. It's organized through online. Of course, in terms of nutrition, health, yoga, again, all this is just exponentially growing. And Mr. Nagpal and Tata Sky started it. Now Tata Play, but then Tata Sky started it at least 10 years back, I noticed. Now let me come. All that you've done has taken you to Binge. How's Binge doing? What can we expect from Binge? Seeing what's happening around us and what you are noticing in your consumers. And you talked about how consumers have become digital first.
Like I said, like a person like me, a person like you have not watched live TV. Our proportion of watching live TV has reduced over the period because we have access to broadband, we have access to apps. And we have never been, so we have to define our role. What's our role? What role do we play? We don't produce any content. We've never produced content. We only make your content subscription easy. So instead of going to multiple channels, you come to us and you can subscribe in one package all the channels. And the second bigger thing that we do is we make content discovery easy. If you want to watch something in the evening, like suppose you want to watch Tamil drama, all you need to do is guide, entertainment, Tamil, and you have the list of 8 Tamil channels which are showing drama at this point in time. So in about 4 seconds and 4 clicks, you are watching what you came to watch. So when OTT happened, and this was about 6 years ago, 5 years ago, we said the customers are going to face the same problem, and even more. Because यहाँ तो सिर्फ 8 ड्रामे चल रहे होते थे तमिल में. Here you'll have millions of pieces of content on the internet and you won't know what to watch. And even today in most homes, including mine, half the evening is spent in searching what to watch and the other half in trying to watch what we decided what we want to watch. So we said, let's solve this problem. Like we solved that in television, that's what we need to do, and Binge was an answer to that. Whatever number of apps you subscribe to, all of them are in the background. You'll get one screen on which content from all the apps that you subscribe to is in one rail. So if you like Bangla Romance, there'll be one rail which will pull out Bangla Romance from all the apps that you subscribe to, and it's all there. You click and you click on the latest and you start watching again in 4 seconds and 4 clicks. That was the objective. We were the first ones to come out with a product like this, an aggregated product like this. The market is not very large. The market is growing. Unlike most people who would like us to have believed that TV is dying, which people said, including my children, and TV is not dying, but OTT is growing. It has not reached the level that TV is. It will probably never reach the level in our lifetimes that what TV is, but it is growing for sure.
Yeah. And coming to, there are my children, people I know, who subscribe to 3, 4, in some cases 5 OTT apps. So is having a platform that consolidates all that and brings them the choice and the availability on one platform is what you're trying to make happen, right? Is that and collaboration the future? And you collaborated with content creators and brought all of them on your platform.
So we collaborate with the apps. For example, if a particular app is selling for, so leave alone the Netflix of the world, which are expensive, but most Indian apps are selling for 30, 40, 50 rupees each per month. Now, if an app which sells for 30, 40, 50 rupees a month is to go out and acquire subscribers, it'll cost him about 100 rupees to get a subscriber. If he's very, 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 very efficient, the number is actually 600 rupees, which is why most apps are selling an annual pack and not a monthly pack. But if I consolidate 7, 8, 9, 10 apps, the monthly bill comes to about 200 rupees. And when I go out to sell a 200 rupee app, even if I spend 100 rupees, I'm break even first month itself. If I spend 500 rupees to acquire that customer, the propensity of that customer to stay for 6 months is very high because he's got content from 6 apps coming up onto his face, and therefore he's got something or the other to watch every day. So collaborate. So it's easier for an aggregator to go out into the market and acquire customers, more sustainable than the owner of the content. And content owners should concentrate on deciding whether the hero should die or he should marry the girl, and leave the dirty work to us Shudras.
You are the equivalent of a top mall for goods, same for content. Now, worldwide and in India also, content has become the glue to drive commerce. Do you think at some point, Tata Play and Binge can become commerce platforms? They are in some way already.
I'm a great believer in sticking to your knitting. It's like, do what you do. We haven't ever thought of even making content. Though we sell content, we haven't even integrated one step back of making content. And I don't think we ever will. Because there are enough people who know it better than us. So I don't think we'll start doing commerce and get into retail and get into all these kinds of things.
Also you've seen the evolution of TV, you've seen the evolution of OTTs. Now, do you think right now the OTT subscription numbers are low, as you yourself talked, but they're growing? Do you think OTT subscription numbers at some stage will become bigger than TV numbers?
Not in our lifetimes. I'll give you an example. Just imagine, I don't have a screen here, so just imagine this is the size of OTT. 500 million people are watching OTT today. This box is 500 million people. 90% of them are watching for free. YouTube or AWOD or whatever. So this 500 million, take out this 90, you're left with 50 million. 10% is 50 million. 10% is 50 million. Of this 50 million, half of them, which is 25 million, are watching what is given to them free by the telecom operator or their bank or whoever. They wouldn't have gone and subscribed for it if they had not been given that for free. So that leaves another 25 million. Our rough estimate tells us is that of this 25 million, about 20 plus million are subscribing to 1, 2 or 3 apps. Only that 4 to 5 million in the corner of this 500 million are currently watching and paying for more than 4 or more apps. So therefore, the entire market is the opportunity for the future. And it will take a long time to build.
And what will happen to my friends who are DTH players and MSOs? What's happened to DTH players who have not really kept pace?
See, innovation, if you don't innovate, you perish. You don't live up to the expectations of the customer and utilize the technology and the opportunities that are available to you, you perish.
Now, let me come to, as a business leader, you also interact with your audiences, with the ecosystem. And you recently posted on LinkedIn, as I said, it was both provocative and well thought. And it's, what you posted said, don't build careers, rent people. And a lot of people commented on it. Some read the first line, but possibly not the full post. What has been your reaction to the feedback? Do you think many missed the point that you were trying to make? Of course, a lot of them got it. You're seeing the current.
I'm trying to pull out that post. Yeah, I found it. Okay. So people who read the full post, about 3,000 of them liked it. Over 300,000 people read the post on LinkedIn. 3,000 of them liked it. Every newspaper that I know read the first line and wrote an article, because newspapers are normally in a hurry and they don't have the time to read the full post. So let me, for your benefit, read the full post. Don't build careers, rent people. They read only up to here and wrote a full article on that. Subsequently, it goes on to say, this isn't their first job. They won't retire here. How many of you are in your first job in this room? Just raise your hand.
How many of you are in your first job?
Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7 people.
7 in a room full like this. So it applies to majority. How many of you plan to retire in the job that you're in? 2. Okay. Me and you. Yet allow them to bring their beliefs and attitudes with them when they come in. Let them be and do what they couldn't where they were before. How many of you believe seriously that your companies are allowing you to do that? Allow them to bring their beliefs and attitudes with them. How many of you believe that how many of your employers are letting you be and do what they couldn't in your previous job? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 hands. Nice.
15 maybe.
15 hands. Nice. As their knowledge and confidence grows, they will learn to fly and make you soar too. Right or wrong?
Absolutely.
And when they leave, they'll encourage others like them to join you. This was the post. Now, isn't this something that we, at least 40 years of my working, isn't this something that I have aspired from my employer? Isn't this what we aspire from our employers? Now, I go rent people ki line padh ke, ek word padh ke, and you start writing shit about it in the newspapers. You know, somebody picked up this particular post and posted it on Reddit under the heading of lunacy. I was very happy. I said, I've made it in life. I've become a bloody influencer. So, and almost everybody under that, there were 300 comments under that, we said, hey, this is not lunacy. This guy is making sense. This post doesn't belong here. One guy even said, you know what he's saying is making sense. Maybe English is not his first language, so he's not been able to express himself well. So that's the story. But every newspaper said that the post has caused, like most newspaper headlines say, the post has caused disturbance amongst audiences. Most are saying, that why has he used the word rent? Of the 156 comments that are there, I've been through them all. I think about 4 or 5 of them said, hey, though I agree with you, you could have used a better word than rent.
I mean, he's saying temporary people evolve, their aspirations grow, they find opportunities. I mean, I read it the moment he posted. I read mostly what he posts, and I read the full piece, and I don't think anybody, I think he put it and I read it.
But it's fun. It's fun to figure out as to how people think and react.
Last year, you and me around, I think I met you on 4th Jan last year, and your book had come out, Adapt to Thrive, Not Just Survive.
Yeah, around this time.
Yes, and the book shares insights and stories through short stories, how to navigate through a truly VUCA world and difficult situations. I know we are running out of time, but if you want to pick up one story for the audience, which may help the audience, or your favorite story, to make a point.
Yeah, it's a book of 10 stories, fiction, set in 10 different countries, 10 industries. Now you're asking me to choose between my children. If I was to say, be cheesy, theek hai. So yeah, I know, but see, 3 of those stories are actually real verbatim my stories, which is actually, we are living it in my company right now. I won't tell you which ones. But I had fun writing them because each of these 3 actually I took one night to write. I normally write it in the night. So, yeah, the story about where this guy in New Zealand changes the review mechanism as such. It's like, he walks into a company and nobody's talking to each other and everybody's throwing darts at each other. And so he's wondering what's the issue. And then he realizes that the reviews in that company, like happens in most of our companies, just go back to your room and think about it, is about finding out who screwed up and how should we punish him. Isn't that true of most reviews? The purpose of a review is गलत क्या हुआ और किसने करा और इसको क्या सजा मिलनी चाहिए. That's what the review is about, and his company was no different, and therefore everybody was at loggerheads with each other. So therefore, what he does is he changes it and says, okay, first of all of us will sit down together. We will not have department-wise reviews. We have the full company review at one point in time. All functions are there. And secondly, we'll attempt to figure out what are the opportunities ahead of us, not what went wrong. Now you can say, how will you grow if you don't figure out what went wrong? But yeah, what went wrong also happens. It's not 100% of opportunities. You also discuss what went wrong, but not who did wrong and the rest.
So I know this says your time is up, so I'm not even opening it. I'll save the time of opening. I read the book. I'd encourage you to read the book. I'd like to ask the last question to Mr. Nagpal. Mr. Nagpal, business is marketing and marketing is business, right? The brands are such valuable assets on the balance sheet of companies, right? What is your advice to business leaders and marketers in this room? I can see some of them. What is your advice keeping where we are headed and what you've seen in the past?
There's only one advice and I've always had. Listen to the customer, that's it. And keep listening. And he will give you the answers. If you don't, and you listen to yourself, there's no solution.
Give Mr. Nagpal a big round of applause.